This is where I'm going to go through really how to plan your marketing for 2022. So we're going to focus on some very specific things that you can do. Don't feel overwhelmed because there's a lot in here, and you don't need to be doing everything, but you will want to pick and choose.
I'm going into a Zoom, so
you'll want to pick and choose different things that you will want to do daily, weekly, quarterly, yearly, all of that. So let me get started. All right, marketing is no longer, this is not supposed to be my first one. Did it update? That's okay. We'll go back to that. Okay, this is the makeup of my plan. So the three things that we really want to focus on are being visible. Second is engagement. And third is follow-up. And then in order to make all that happen, we need a system in place. So planning it out, using a system to make sure it happens. All right. So Jeff Bezos, hopefully y'all know who that is. I use this quote a lot. Your brand is what other people talk about when you are not in the room. So how do they see you? So before we can talk about visibility, we really need to talk about branding, because you have to have this idea of when someone thinks of Erica, when someone thinks of Shane, when someone thinks of Anna, like who do they think of as a real estate agent? So first off, before we can really plan everything out, you want to audit what your business was in the past. And so if any of you need to, I can print out a list of your closings from last year. Team, it's a little harder. It's a team list, but you can go through and circle yours. And then you really want to say, where did this business come from? You know, did I get this from an open house? Is this a referral? Was this an online lead? Was this because I met someone at a networking event? Is this someone that I've known for a long time, but because I was on social media, they messaged me on there? How did you get that? So sometimes you need to not only think about, yes, this is someone I know, this is someone part of my sphere, but also, you know what? But the reason they really reached out to me is because I made a video talking about a new home community, and that prompted them to say, you know what? I've been wanting to look at new homes. So what sources did you use, and how, and what generated that business? So also think about, like, how often were you doing that? So if you got a buyer from an open house, but you only did one open house this year, do you really know how powerful your open houses could have been? No, because you weren't doing them consistently. You only did it once. If you posted one video and you got 2 potential leads, well, think about what would have happened if you had posted 8 videos, right? So you need to think about where your business came from, what sources, how often you actually use those sources, and if they benefited you. And that's the same with online leads. You know, if you're using a program like Realtor or Zillow, how much business came from that? What areas or groups did you target? So, and I'll share this as well, but what areas and groups did you target? So did you have a networking group that you're in? Did you target do you have like a parent group you're in? Are you targeting people at church? Like, who did you reach out to? Do you have a neighborhood that you reached out to? Did that work? Did you consistently interact with those people? So thinking about those stuff is really giving yourself that audit. And then the places you're going to be, we're going to talk about where you need to be visible, but how did you brand yourself? So did you just say, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I sell houses? Or did you talk about why someone would want to work with you? Or how did you make yourself stand out? Did you talk about any special services you offer as an agent, such as staging or photography? Did you make yourself stand out because you did more videos about the property? Or maybe you used drones or Matterport in your listings, but if I went on your Facebook page today, would I know that? Would I be able to see that you've done that? Or would I have to go search for a listing? So they shouldn't have to search for a listing to see the marketing that you do for listings. Maybe you do something special for buyers. Maybe you have special consultation for buyers. So what do you do that is different than other people, right? As well as you can use that Remax brand, right? Not everybody gets to use the #1 brand in real estate. So don't be afraid to pop the balloon in there. Don't be afraid to use some of the marketing from our national brand. All right, so cultivate visibility because attention is currency. So this is all about staying top of mind. This is all about the first area we're going to talk about in your marketing plan is being visible. So how are you staying top of mind to people who already know you, potential clients? Maybe you got a lead through your website and you start emailing them and they're not responding. They might Google you. What are they going to find about you? How visible are you? Right? So, when I search agents, sometimes one of the first things I'll do is go on their Facebook page. And when I see that they haven't posted anything since 2019, I think to myself, is this guy even an agent anymore? Right? So are you being consistent? Are you putting stuff out there so they know that you are still an active real estate agent? You have to be visible because that's the attention brought to you, staying top of mind. It's what's going to bring you the business. So visibility, where can people find you? We're going to talk about that. What do they find when they search you? Search yourself. Don't be afraid to search yourself. Sometimes I tell, search yourself when you're if you sign into Chrome, you may want to sign out of Chrome. And if you sign out of Chrome, it might give you a better picture of what people find because we do have all these, there's a lot of things already attached to like our Google business account. Yeah, some other girl's named Erica Wheeler. So this is what I would suggest. So Erica, just search yourself and there's an NBA star. So obviously search yourself doing Erica Wheeler's real estate agent or Erica Wheeler San Antonio, right? That's just like something extra that someone will probably be like, oh no, I'm looking for the real estate agent. I need to add in that word, so think about that. But you want to know, like, what do people find? And so if you sign out of Chrome, you'll get a better idea. Another thing you can do is if you use Chrome all the time, but you have Safari or Firefox on your computer, go into those browsers because they don't already have those cookies and things that will say, oh, you're probably looking for this website because you go to it a lot and it has your name on it, right? So go to one so you can really get a better idea. So where can people find you? These are passive and active things that you can do. And I say passive, like you can set some of these things up and not really have to worry about them, really just your website, right? But yes, actively you can add some more things to it, but it is pretty passive. Like as long as you have a website out there, that's check mark #1, right? There's tons of brokerages out there that their agents are either their quote website is simply their name listed on their company website. They don't have their own website. You all have your own website. You should be at least have your photo on it and your information. Put some sort of bio so it doesn't look like everyone else's. And then really you can do more with it if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. You can add in a page about maybe you do relocating. You can add in a page about working with military. I can help you with those things. But if the basic thing you do is just set up your front page of your site, that's great, because at least if they search for you, they're going to find your website and they will be able to search for homes. And that's not just leads, right? That's not just someone that doesn't know you. I guarantee someone that's known you for 10 years probably knows 5 other real estate agents. So if they go and say, oh, should I use Erica or should I use this guy, Joe, that I also know? And if they search both of you and they find out that Joe doesn't have a website, they might be like, well, how are they going to promote my listing? So that it's not just for people who don't know you. You also need that listing so people who know you can see you didn't just get your real estate license and it, then decided to sit on your butt, right? Social media. The reason you have that social media site is because people as just as much as they search you on a website, they search you on social media. And the thing is, you can decide what they see on there. You can have a business page that shows listings. And that's another big thing. If I'm going to go and they don't actively post their listings, I'm like, well, how are they going to actually market my listing? Granted, we kind of automatically do that for you. But if then I go on social media and I see, oh, here's a post about Erica discussing why she uses a drone photographer or why she uses Matterport or even just professional photography, that might make me lean towards using her rather than someone else. So just being visible and people can find these things. Reviews is one of the biggest pain points for real estate agents because they don't bother to ask for them. But if you have a system in place where you know that every time you close on a home, you're gonna, I can help you with this. In Booge, I can set up a template email where every time you close on a home, you send that person an email and it says, here, please review me on Google or Facebook or Zillow, right? Or just pick one. And that way you're gathering those reviews. And if they don't want to review you on one of those, you can say, or just reply back with some kind words. If you reply back with any feedback, and please let me know if you don't mind me sharing this on my website. Simple as that. There's a couple different types of advertising. We're going to talk about a little bit of the engagement ads, but let me just see, what did I do next? Okay, yeah, let me go back. I'll talk about ads in a minute and newsletter. Okay, we talked about website, talked about social media. There are other places. I'm just going to tell you, at least be on Facebook. You don't have to be, at least have a business page on Facebook. However, if you want to work into your plan, hey, I'm consistent on Facebook. Now I really, earlier we were talking about reels. Now I really want to start being consistent about posting reels on Instagram. Work this into your plan. Put it on your weekly action. Say once a week, I'm going to post a reel. And you need to schedule that in. There's not as many people here today because their priority was something else, because they didn't bother to schedule this class. And I think it's a kick-ass class. So whatever, if you wanted to schedule something else. But I mean, it's actual practical stuff you can be doing, right? So this is going to build you a practical plan for next year. So whether they chose to sleep in instead of coming to class, it's because they didn't bother to plan it and say, I'm going to stick to this plan, right? So again, if you want to add an Instagram, I put LinkedIn on there. I think you can be pretty passive in LinkedIn, but it's another avenue. I put YouTube. Some people really love doing YouTube. Actually, Robert Ott is he does a lot of social and he's doing great, but I just noticed his YouTube channel is doing much better. He's doing videos of downtown. He's doing videos of areas. If you want to do YouTube, you can really take off, but you have to make that commitment, right? And then some people are starting to use some TikTok because it's fun. I don't know I know some people get stuff from it, but I just want you to at least do Facebook on your list, okay? You can brand yourself. You can stay visible with online ads. There's some very passive online ads, both on Megaphone and AdWorks, that just put you out there. So people, they'll see you, whether it's they'll advertise you to more people on social media, they'll advertise you to more people on websites. You may get some clicks and get some leads, great. But the real goal to all that is to generate more. It's really to stay in front of people. And if you have a certain zip code you want to focus on, you're going to do that. I like Nextdoor because it hooks you up with people in your neighborhood. And then if you really want to brand your, there, I mentioned megaphone and, AdWords. Okay. Pay attention to what people care about and reverse engineer it. This has a lot to do with how to get more people interacting in your social, because number one was visibility. Number two, part of your plan is engagement, and engagement and visibility. It's no longer about the stuff you make, but the stories you tell. So how are people, you know, what stories are you telling, as well as, let me go back to this quote. Whoops. As well as, what do people care about? And now we have ways that we can go on Instagram, or if you're on TikTok, and you can see what's trending. And so you can take that information and make it, reverse engineer it into what you care about. So that's just something, a little extra that I liked that quote. That's a whole nother class, but it's just an idea to put it out there.
What is that? Reverse engineering.
So like, there's a video, there's really funny videos about like, do you see anything on TikTok or Instagram Reels? So maybe there's like a really funny sound bite. And so that sound bite might pertain to cooking. I don't know, maybe someone's cooking and they're using the sound bite. Think about how you can make that video relate to something you do. I'll show you some. I'm trying to think of.
Hey, Frankie.
Yes, Shane.
So I'm right there with the question. So how are we finding like what's trending then to be able to tag along to that and make it relevant to us? So can you go through that a little bit again?
Yeah, I probably won't spend too much time on it because it's like a whole nother class, but Shane, would you do that more on Instagram, or you don't use TikTok, do you?
No, only to watch other people's videos, but I haven't produced anything.
So that's part of the thing, right? So on other people's videos, you'll start hearing those sounds that like multiple people are making videos to. And so that sound is probably trending. So you can actually click on that sound and it will, and you can use that sound. The other thing you can do in, let me just try to make a reel and see if it works. In TikTok is when you go to create a TikTok, or you go to create a, a reel. When you get into the TikTok, it actually has a little music note. When you go to add music, it will pop up a list of music that you have to use, and it will pop up musical notes next to things that are trending. And then it will not pop up musical notes next to things that aren't trending, right? So that's one way. There are websites that you can go on, and if you just Google like what's trending on TikTok, what's trending on Instagram, there are some websites that will show you more recently. But if you go through some of those if you start exploring the app a little bit more, it's very hard for me to explain it without showing you on my phone. So if we have time at the end of this, I'll, which we probably don't because we have a lunch at 11:30, but I can, I'll try to show, I'm trying to get someone in here to do a class on that, to be quite honest, to show you a little bit more.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, that doesn't totally answer your question. But the other thing you can do is if you're just on TikTok and you see a video and you're like, oh my gosh, I could do this to that, then I would go in, you can actually save that video and create it. And I can show you how to do something like that. Just not right now because it takes a few minutes and it's on my phone. Okay, so engagement. So what content are you going to, it keeps people engaging? How do you continue to keep people engaging? So you're thinking about how to keep the conversation going. People love when people tell stories. So if you have stories, if you have an experience out showing, things like that, asking questions, polls, inviting others to give feedback. So, you know, you're in a home and you want to show 2 different rooms and you ask which rooms the kid would fight over, or which room the kid would fight over, or maybe you have an indoor and outdoor kitchen and you want to ask people to give their feedback on that. That is stuff people like to, they want to engage, they want to comment, but you have to really invite them sometimes to do that. Also engage with people who like what you like. I mean, we don't have to market to everyone. There are plenty of real estate agents in San Antonio. Not every single one of them needs to be your client. I mean, as much as you might like it, you probably couldn't handle it, let's be honest. And there's plenty of people to go around. So find people who actually connect with you. If you connect with mom stuff, share stuff about being a real estate agent and a mom and having to balance that. If you connect with gardening, share gardening stuff. I had my first TikTok video go, and I'm going to do more of this, but I had my first TikTok video have over 100,000 views. And it was literally me just making cream corn. Like it was just picture of my crock pot and everything I put in it. So like and I know that's not gonna, like, I'm not trying to sell real estate. It's not gonna give me a lead, but if I was a real estate agent, like actively, I would be doing stuff like that. And then also having videos of me at a house cook, like talking about what I'd be making there, you know, little things like that, that you connect with people who like what you like. So how can you set a plan around what you're going to do? Well, I always encourage people to do the social media 5-5-5 plan or the communication 5-5-5 plan, or both. And what that is whether you set this goal for 5 days a week or once a week, you're going to go on social media. You will comment on 5 people's posts, and not just, that's nice, cool, like engage, ask questions. You see they went to a restaurant, what was your favorite thing on the menu? Or if you see, or hey, is there something you didn't order that you want to order next time, or you want to try next time? Restaurants, right? Or vacations, what was your favorite place you visited? Those type of things. Send 5 messages to people you know, and then react to 5 posts, like love it, heart it, laugh at it. If you do that daily, great. And then just like make sure to post at least 5 times a week, not just the automated content. Post a picture of a home you saw, post a new restaurant you like, post something, a story that describes why you use professional photography, something that will keep you in front of people. And then the communication plan, that's where you send 5 texts, you make 5 phone calls, and you send 5 emails. And so if you're not reaching out to your sphere, to leads, to past clients, if you don't already have a plan in place to do that, this is not that hard to do. And 5 is not that many. So if you can do that, you will really up your engagement, which in turn you'll stay top of mind with these people, so that when they are ready to refer you or use you, they'll remember you. And then engaging in networking events is another option. There are more starting up. Some people just want to go out and network. That gains you people to add to your CRM. So some of this stuff is also how you will lead generate and nurture. So I have a little bit more into that. First off, for all of this, you really need, this is some of the tools you'll need. So you'll need that CRM. Maybe you're just using a spreadsheet, fine, but you need to have something to manage people so that you can stay on top of them. So the first thing, if you haven't done anything with your CRM, write down 50 people, find their phone number and email, put it in a spreadsheet, and I will help you upload it if you don't know how to do it, to your Boosh or whatever CRM you want to use. And then just try to add another 5 people a week, whether that's a lead generation, whether that is networking, you meet 5 people, whether you're just like, oh my gosh, I didn't add my hairstylist to my CRM, I should add them in, or the person doing my pedicure, whatever it is, just try to do that. And then, you know, these are just examples. People who know, you kind of know, your spouse knows, your sphere, etc. In the CRM, use the notes feature. If you don't do anything else, at least use the notes feature. You can record conversations. You can record when you've attempted to contact them, when you text them, when you can link to their social media so you can check out their page and, oh, look, one of their kids is graduating from college. They might be wanting to downsize soon. Maybe I should start engaging with them more, and not necessarily saying, hey, do you want to downsize? Do you want to downsize? Do you want to downsize? But send them a card. Congrats on your kid, graduating. Send them a note on Facebook, whatever it is, just to connect with them so you still are staying top of mind.
When I see that people are hitting the 2-year mark after I sold the house, I'll start contacting them and just kind of in a funny way say, hey, you're hit the 2 years. Uncle Sam can't take your net profits.
Oh,
and a lot of people do engage with that.
That is good. That's good. Yeah, use that note feature to add to make a note of when their home anniversary is, and any other personal info, whether it's their favorite wine or their dog's name or whatever it is. And then, at least in Boosh, send the newsletter. If you're not going to do anything else with this system that essentially your Remax dues are paying for, at least put people in there and send the newsletter. I mean, get something out of what you're paying for, because even if nobody bothers to respond back to you for a while, at least you're staying top of mind. Someone is seeing your face, and when they are ready, they'll have seen you at least once a month, and they'll remember to reach out to you. You can use it to schedule tasks. You can set up plans. That's more that that I can sit down and show you how to do. But this is just some of the basics you really need to do to make sure that you consistently market. Here's a list of lead generation stuff. I'm not going to go through all of it, but this is just an idea. Pick one or two. If you, some people just are working referrals, that's great. Fiona uses listings to leads. If you ever want to ask her about it, it looks pretty neat. Megaphone is kind of an easy button where you can just occasionally do ads and it runs for you. I'm not sure the return on it, but it's an option. You can, open houses and phone duties are still great lead gen. Farming neighborhoods, there's lots of different things. This is a new one that I'm going to check out. It's called Certified Media, and they're supposed to do text campaigns for you. And then this is still engaging. So now how are you nurturing these leads? Are you doing the 5-5-5 with your leads? Calling them, texting them, emailing them, at least choose 5 of them a day and continue doing that. Are you recording your notes in your CRM? Are they on drip campaigns? Maybe they're not responding. There's some great first time or home buyer or newsletter drip campaigns. Can you shut that really quick? Do they have your app? Can you send them your app? And if they're not communicating with you, still at least maybe once a month, even if they're just on your newsletter list, send them something, because you never know what's going to make them turn around. Leads take a long time. I think it's an average of 7 touches. So there's some that are going to take 15. There's some that are going to take 2. If you build a great customer experience, customers tell each other about that. Word of mouth is very powerful. So now, you've built this customer experience. How are you continuing to follow up with people to make sure that they will continue to use you? This is so you don't have to lead gen forever, right? We actually have a good amount of agents in here that really just do business by referral now, because they have consistently communicated with their past clients, communicated with their sphere, and now they get a ton of referrals. So are you doing pop buys, or do you have a client event? If you're in the office today, it is decorated for Stacy's client holiday party. So do you have a client holiday party? These are all different ways you can go through. I have on there update database. That's where you can just call all your clients and say, hey, some people do this with the pie. Hey, we're just updating our client database and wondering if you want a pie this Thanksgiving or Christmas. Or I think Liz does poinsettias. I just want to double check, is this still the best phone number and email to contact you at? Great. Do you want apple or pumpkin pie? Great. Do you want to pick up a poinsettia or do you want me to drop one off? Right? Bomb is a nice way to follow up with people and use it for lead nurture. It is an email marketing platform that integrates with video. And then client appreciation program. I think I forgot to look it up before this class. I meant to, but I'm 90% sure that if you go into Remax University and you search for Jared James, I know several of his talks are in there, and one of them, well, the most recent ones, he really hones in on how much business is lost in real estate because we're so focused on getting the business, but we're not focused on the follow-up afterwards. We're not focused on nurturing the people who already gave us the business and how much money that client can generate for us years in the future, both by using us again and by referring us. So whether we do something like, hey, now that you've bought a home with us, you're part of the client appreciation program, and once a year you reach out to them and say, I'm going to send you a $25 gift card to a restaurant just because you're part of this program. I will also pay for one time a year for your lawn to be mowed, or whatever it is. It's just a way to reach out, and he has some other ideas too. But I just thought that was a great idea. Okay, and the engagement part is probably the biggest. So what content should you be using when you're following up or engaging, or this is follow up, but you can use some of this for engagement. Maybe you're sending out market updates, Texas homestead exemption. Use social media to look up their birthdays and anniversaries so you know when to reach out. Similar interests are, what's going on. If you have similar hobbies, is there, you're really into gardening, there's a gardening club. You're really into cooking and there's a really great cooking class happening. Send them those links and just say, hey, I know you love cooking. Let me send this to you, right? Or maybe they love baseball. We had an agent who used to every year buy tickets through kind of like what we do for you all, but he would buy tickets for his clients to a missions game. And so he just called them up and asked how many people wanted tickets and invite everybody to a missions game. And even if they couldn't go, the fact is that it gave him a reason to call and reach out and stay top of mind. So, and I'm sure they appreciated, like maybe they had other plans. I'm sure they at least appreciated that he was willing to buy them a ticket, right? So location-based interest. So what's going on here in San Antonio that you want to reach out? Maybe they live in an area that might be annexed and there's going to be a vote on it. Send something out about that. Or there's going to be like a meeting. I don't know how they all do that. But anyway, maybe there's going to be a new traffic alert that you send out to people in that area. Maybe put it on Nextdoor. You see on Facebook that there is going to be construction in your neighborhood. Why aren't you posting that on Nextdoor or in your Facebook neighborhood group? What kind of groups are you in? Are you in the PTO group? Are you in the same group at church? Whatever that is. So these are just other ways that reasons for you to follow up and continue marketing out. So now when you're thinking about what you'll be doing here's what I want to get across. When you're doing your marketing plan, you're thinking about 3 areas. You do not need to do all of this, but you need to say, what am I going to do to stay visible? Okay, well, my goal for 2022 is to make sure my website is up to date and I like how it looks, and to be consistent on Facebook. And maybe I'm going to add in some Instagram. And those are the 3 areas I'm going to stay visible in. So that's visibility. Now, how am I going to engage? Well, I'm going to commit to the 5-5-5, and I'm going to reach out to 5 people, 5 texts, 5 emails, 5 phone calls, or maybe 5 social media messages 5 days a week. That's going to be my engagement goal. And then I'm going to have a goal for following up. I'm going to do quarterly pop-bys. So some of you that are here, you have this sheet and it says visibility. So I would write down like maybe 1 or 2 things that you're going to do for visibility and how often you're going to do it, or if it's something that is time-based. Engagement, And then your follow-up, what you'll do for follow-up. And then you need a system to manage it. These are CRMs. Obviously, I know a lot about Booge. That's what we use, but I did put some others. BombBomb's another one you could use, but you can just use an Excel spreadsheet. But I think along with that CRM, you need to have your calendar. So there are calendars in the CRM, but if you're not going to log in every day, you also need to put stuff in Google Calendar. So if you go, or whatever calendar you use. So if you know you're going to do a pop by quarterly, you need to put that on your calendar. January, plan the pop by. Mark that on the date so you remember to do it. Plan pop by. February, create the pop by. March, send the pop by out. And maybe you do it in January. I don't know. It's something like that so you remember to do it. Maybe you need to mark on your calendar every other day. Text 5 people, email 5 people, social media message 5 people every other day. So you are at least time blocking, getting your marketing in. This is how you market yourself. Maybe you need to, if you're not going to do it 5 days a week, maybe every other day, or you can schedule your Facebook posts. So why not block out 1 hour a week, or it really doesn't take that long, but block out 1 hour and say, all right, I'm going to schedule my social media for the week on my business page. And then if you happen to be at a new build or something else and you see something you want to put in, that's a bonus, right? And then these are some apps to keep you organized when you're doing this. The Booge app, you can put tasks and things in there. I like my Google Task app. Apple has reminders. I added Be Focused. It has a timer. So if you're like, all right, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to contact 5 people. I'm going to email 5 people. I'm going to sit here for 30 minutes and get this done. It actually has a timer. So if you set aside 30 minutes, it will time that 30 minutes. And then you're like, when you're done, you're like, oh, I did it, right? I interacted, I engaged, I worked on my marketing. Maybe you just set 30 minutes to work on your marketing, because how many people don't bother to do that once a week, let alone once a month, let alone quarterly? You need to actively do this, or it's not going to just happen on its own. So frequency, once you plan out what you're going to do, you need to write it down. You need to put it in that calendar. So break it down. What are you going to do weekly? And on this sheet that I have your overall goal. And you might put, I want to do 22 transactions. I want to do 8 million, whatever I want to hit. Maybe you don't even want to do that. I want to increase my average home sale price. Maybe your goal is I want to hit 100% club. Whatever it is, write it down and put it in here. And then you're going to go through, what's my weekly actions? I'm going to schedule time to do my marketing. That would be amazing if you just scheduled 30 minutes once or twice a week to do your marketing. You should do more, but that's okay. Schedule it. Schedule your 555. Maybe monthly, you're going to send out a market update. Schedule that monthly. Maybe monthly, you're going to check on who has a birthday or anniversary that month so you can send them a handwritten card. You don't have to do all of these. Pick 2 or 3 and stick to them. Quarterly, maybe you'll do pop buys. Maybe there's something in your, Myra does like an event almost quarterly in her community. So maybe one quarter you do a Halloween event. Another quarter you do a 4th of July event or a pool party or a movie night. You can find places to do that. Same with yearly, whether it's client appreciation event, whether it's passing out pies, poinsettias. Maybe it's just, I want every single year, I need to at least touch base once with every single person that I've sold a home to in the past. Make that a goal. You need to plan it out. I always add this in, how much money should you designate? If you don't have any money right now, I would say every time you get paid, set aside 20% or more if you can, because whatever you put in is going to really matter what you put out. But just start with setting aside 20% of your check, and you'll find that will add up, because this is your business. And so you need to set aside that money. It takes money to make money, right? So how much, keep track of your results as well. Like if you're trying Megaphone for 3 months and you put in $200 a month, how many leads did you get out of it? How did that pan out? If you're doing pot buys, keep track of it for a whole year. How does it plan out? How did it turn out? Did you get anything from that? Okay, so I know that's a lot of information. If you guys want to meet one-on-one with me, we can do that. But I just like this final thing. It can be overwhelming, but that's why you just need to put it in place, plan it, put it on a calendar, think about your visibility, think about your engagement and your follow-up. You know, in the past, we would have gone over, you need to schedule ads in the newspaper. You don't have to do that anymore. You can this can be fun. You can just like go on social media and start like calling your best friend, and your best friend might be your best referral source. And that is like marketing now, right? So I think a lot of people, they just don't want to bother to do it, but it is the people that end up marketing consistently and putting a plan in place that in the end are going to succeed. So it's human nature to quit when it hurts. Maybe it's a pain of yours to not do that video or to not send out that newsletter. It just seems like a pain, but it's the reflex to actually do it that creates scarcity. So the people on top are the ones who are they're going to do it. They're going to have the reflex to go out and market. So any questions? I know that was pretty fast run through. If you want, I'm going to share this presentation and I'm going to share my worksheet. And then if you guys have any questions or you want to meet with me one-on-one, let me know. Okay. Okay.
Thank you so much, Frankie.
Thank you, Shane.